Hello, welcome everybody. This is the Benjinator. You are watching Let's Play Chrono Trigger. This is episode 64 and the finale of this game. We have finally reached the very end of the chapter known as the final battle. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what are we doing in the end of time? Aren't we supposed to go fight Lavos? Well, we are still going to be fighting Lavos, and we are fully prepared. There's really no more things we can do, but well, actually, there is one more thing we can do. We can talk to Gaspar. Okay, so apparently, and he's talking about Azil. I guess she's reverted back to a human. Okay, so yeah, you have somewhat of an indication of what happens to her, but really you don't know anything else. And so now he basically tells you to go fight Lavos, you know, to stop fooling around and go and do your thing. So anyway, one of the reasons I came back here is that there are actually two ways that you can go about fighting Lavos. You can either go through the bucket and the same passageway that we just did, which is essentially the same as the Black Omen. If you decide that you just want to fight Lavos straight out and you want to use that bucket, you'll go through the whole battle mode and, you know, chop off his head and what have you. So it's pretty much the same thing minus going through the Black Omen, which you can do if you want, but going through the Black Omen does pump you up quite a bit. But there's another way you can do it, and that, of course, is to board the Epoch. And what are you going to guess that I'm going to do? Yes, you can actually use the Epoch to go to Lavos directly. So, you know, you can do an airborne attack. So let's go see what happens. Because this actually gives you a slight extra scene, which is kind of nifty. So, here we are. Gonna be fighting Lavos. Gonna be boarding the ship. Yeah, I was thinking about skipping this, but I decided, you know what? This is totally worth trying out. Here we are. We've arrived in 1999. And so it looks like now Lavos is going to be rising. much strong guy. Exactly. Yeah, I figured if we're gonna do this properly, we might as well see every angle of fighting Lavos that we can possibly do. All right, there he is. Emerging from the heavens as usual. Yeah, so it's kind of funny if you think about, I mean, what happened when we decided to just leave Lavos in 12,000 BC? Was he just like, screw it guys, I'm going home? You know, after Queen Zeal showed up and then got defeated? That's probably what happened. So, oh yeah, quite large. The large Lavos beast. And he still doesn't have a head, because we lobbed it off in 12,000 BC. So for years we so basically for thousands of years we dealt with this whole thing. Okay, so this isn't the cutscene I was quite thinking of. But if you actually go for that without the head being chopped off, then if you go for that without the head being chopped off, then what happens is you fly in. It does this. There's this big scene, and you effectively destroy the Epoch. So if we defeat Lavos, it still might register as the Epoch being destroyed, which is important. If it doesn't, it's absolutely fine. But the ending is a little different depending on whether or not you go through the bucket or otherwise. Okay, so I guess this is the belly of the beast, huh? Oh, wow, look at that thing. So that is the interior of Lavos. It's got 3 heads. It's got some tentacles and 2 arms. And here we go. We're going to be fighting the almighty, the Lavos. His insides, his guts. Alright, so here we are. So the first thing you have to understand is that he uses laser beams on you, which is extremely painful, as you might imagine. Yeah, look at that. That's an insane amount of damage. So how do you deal with that? Well, the reason why this is the ultimate team is because they have Slurp Kiss. Remember Slurp Kiss? Everybody loves Slurp Kiss. Well, maybe not Chrono, but the point is that Slurp Kiss will help to restore your HP significantly, and it only costs 1 MP per. So look at that, 450. That's why this team is in my opinion, OP. So anyway, so if we're dealing with Lavos, what you want to do is that you want to get rid of those arms, first of all, because you're not going to be able to make it very far in this battle unless the arms are destroyed. Because he's going to keep throwing those stupid things at you. And also the arms do, unfortunately, have the ability to revive. So what do we do in that situation? We use Falcon Hit, because that is fun. Yep. So then with Falcon Hit underway, taking out the arms is not going to be too much harder. You can have Frog follow up with Water 2, which does a little bit of damage. You might be noticing right now that you're not doing a lot of damage to the central tenet of Lavos. That's okay. It's not something you have to worry about right at the moment. You just want to keep your HP relatively high, because the arms will be tossing those things at you. And thankfully, with the Rage Band, Chrono will be able to deflect them, as you can see. So that's always a good thing. And if you have a choice between aiming for one arm or the other, I would say trying to get the right arm is definitely the better one, because that's sort of the healing arm. So I think another Falcon Hit should actually do it. Oh, this is gonna hurt though. I should have been a little bit more judicious, because I didn't think he was gonna be using Laser Beam that soon on. So anyway, let's bring Ayla back. And then we can probably... We'll use a Mega Elixir. It's the final battle. There are things that we can get away with in the final battle. And so, there we go. Good as new. And so if he uses Laser Beams again, then you can use... Then you want to make sure you use Slurp Kiss twice. That's the best way to do it. If you use the Laser Beams, use it twice just out of safety. But the good thing is that once these arms are dead, he's not going to be able to do it anymore. So, there goes one arm. And let's try to take out the other one. Yeah, so, I'm sorry, that healing arm has a little bit more HP. So, it revives the body. Not that it's a really big deal right now. And that thing is supposed to disable your self-defense, but it won't, because the prison helms are just too awesome. And I think that, unfortunately, Lavos does have the power, I believe, to cast status inflictions on you that can even seep through your prison helms. But right now, you don't have to worry about that. A little later, he is going to whip out some much more powerful attacks, but for the time being, not too bad. Alright, so that arm should almost be dead. Yeah, he's not going to be able to use Stop on you, so you don't have to worry about that. I will let you know when you have to worry about... okay, never mind. It did work, huh? And I thought it wasn't going to. Alright, so now that we've defeated the arms, Lavos is going to kick this up a notch a little bit. So, when he says engaging main body, his defense does go down. And so let's use a heal on Mr. Froggy. And remember, Slurp Kiss 2 does restore status ailments. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright, Obstacle. This is a confused attack, and this may or may not actually get through to you. We'll have to see. Yeah, it's... Unfortunately, I might have forgot to put the Prison Helm on Frog. I really hope that's not the case. It does seem to be affecting him, but... Alright, so let's just heal him up. And hopefully he won't be using too many more of those status-inflicting things. Because he does use those every once in a while. So, Shadow Slay. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use Slurp Kiss just to restore some of our HP. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Frog, but he seems to be susceptible to this, even though we did give him the, we gave him the Prism Helm and everything. But that's, he wouldn't be a last boss if there wasn't at least some challenge, right? I mean, it does... If the last boss could not use any status inflictions on you whatsoever, I mean, that'd be kind of cheap, wouldn't it be? You'd have to compensate it for having the boss do ridiculous amounts of damage all the time. And we know how fun that is. But like I've said before, Chrono Trigger is not exactly the most difficult game. And that's his weakest attack right there, Flame Battle. Alright, now we get to use a 3D attack. This is what I've been waiting for. Always a good time. And I should have used Haste or something, just to make it go a little bit faster. Alright, so now he's going to be using Shadow Doomblaze, which is one of his more powerful attacks. As you can see, it sets the entire front of the screen on fire, so it's got to be somewhat powerful. As you can see there. Oh yeah, a lot of damage. A lot of damage. So with that, what we will do is, of course, use Slurp Kiss, just to restore. And so Evil Emanation, his attack power is up by a little bit, but nothing you really have to worry about. I really hope I can win against Lavos. I'm fairly certain that I will, but you never know. It's never a sure thing with the final boss, as you might imagine in most RPGs. Is that whenever you go up against the final boss, even if you're well prepared, which we are, sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. So you're just going to keep throwing up those 3D attacks. Any chance they get to use a 3D attack, I would definitely go for it. So, oh, darn, the music cut out. That's okay. It just cut out from my end. We're still going to be able to see, we're still going to be able to see this whole thing through, so don't worry. Alright, so another obstacle, and this may confuse Frog, but if that's the case, I will just use healing on him once again. So, alright. So, I'm so thankful for those counters. Alright, so, did we defeat Lavos? Seems that way. Alright, now he's emanating some weird juice there. So he doesn't look dead, he looks like he's still functional. Okay, so what's happening now? Alright. He's turned into a dog in a crab suit? My friends and I always were kind of like, he turns into a dog in a crab suit. Yeah, that does look pretty evil. Possesseth the vitality of all living creatures. So, if you have other people in your party, they'll explain it a little bit better than Frog, but basically, Lavos contains the DNA of every living creature on the earth. So, in some ways, he's kind of like God. Yeah, okay, there we go. For some reason, Frog knows what DNA is, which I find absolutely hilarious. Harvest DNA for animals, only the... Oh, okay, so it's using the makeup of other animals and plants to enhance itself. So, it's basically feeding off of other... species for evolution. It's kind of a parasite of an evolutionary parasite, so to speak. Alright, so now, oh yeah, we're going to fight for life and all that sort of thing. We have free will. Yeah, this is a very common speech at the end of most RPGs. So, yep, you're an alien, and now we're going to kill you. So now, this is the part where we get to fight the actual final battle against the dog in a crab suit and the two other little side bits right there as well. So this is sort of a tricky battle, and I'll explain to you why. So the dude in the middle, the dog in the crab suit, is not actually the Lavos core. The Lavos core is, yeah, I'm just going to pause it for a second. The Lavos core is actually the one on the right. So what you want to do to win this battle is that the thing on the left, that is the bit defender. You want to kill the bit defender as much as possible. And then you wait a few seconds, and the Lavos core, the little bit on the right, will shut off its defense. So what you want to do is you want to try and attack the thing on the right. The thing on the right, once that dies, you've won the game. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's get the show on the road. So let's start off, of course, with a Slurp Kiss, because that's going to help immensely in this particular battle. And so the thing about the dude in the middle is that he represents sort of the raw power of Lavos. He will actually use some ultimate attacks, and you'll see in a few minutes that he's got his own little annoying attacks that he does. He uses this technique called Time Warp, which takes you to a random point in history, and that can be really annoying. So right now, of course, he's using yeah, so he does, that does 1,000 damage. So that really sucks. Fortunately, he doesn't do that a whole lot, but it does show up every once in a while. So let's bring Frog back to life, and we'll use an elixir on him as soon as he gets up, because again, this is the last battle. You're not using this for anything else. You have 17 elixirs. You might as well use it. But yeah, the key is that you want to try and attack the dude on the left first. First thing is you want to get rid of I guess the Lavos bit. And thankfully, Chrono, because he has the Rage Band, is going to be able to do this pretty quickly. So now we got the Time Warp, and hopefully it won't take us to a time we don't want. Okay, so we're going to have to prepare for incoming in this battle, because what's going to happen is that he's going to use the ultimate physical attack. So make sure that your HP is pretty darn high. You do not want to be... This is not a point in the game where you want to mess around. So, all right, so we defeated the bit on the left. But now it's going to be a little bit more... But now what we're going to do is we're going to try to do as much damage as possible to both the center and the right bit, or the core. Yeah, the little dude on the right is the core. So that's Lavos right there. That is the brain. So right now it hasn't shut off its defense, but it will. All right, so here's Grand Stone. If you can survive this attack, which hopefully we will, then the rest of the attacks aren't going to be so bad. So yeah, that about halved our HP, which is a pain, I know, but it's something that we can handle. One thing that's kind of nifty is actually the color of... This is kind of a weird thing. The color of the little vortex actually represents the health of the central bit. So, you know, when it starts changing colors, that means you're getting closer to defeating it. Okay, so now the core has shut its defense off, and now Chrono... it's so fun using the Frenzy Band, because whenever, like, an enemy just does anything, he just reacts to it, being like, oh, I think not. I think not. Alright, so this, I believe, is 1000 BC, and this is where he's actually going to... He uses kind of a particularly weird attack, so something to keep in mind. And so, one thing, too, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is that the core has the ability to revive both of the bits. So, that's something that you don't want to forget, is that eventually that left bit is going to be back. So you don't have forever. Well, I mean, well, you do technically have forever as long as you can survive, of course. But the left bit will come back, and when the left bit comes back, the defense will be restored, and you're going to have to do it again. So, for the time being, I just recommend a lot of Falcon hits. And supposedly, every time you hit the core, the defense does go down, which, you know, there's a slight difference, but it's not particularly huge. So, yeah, you want to do as much damage to the... Yeah, see, it uses active life, which is a pain. So what I would do at this point is actually keep using Falcon hits, so that way you can hit the dude in the middle. All right, now he's going to be using a slow attack, but this also does some damage as well. So after this, okay, so that's not so bad. It actually didn't affect us that much. So what I would recommend now is to use more Falcon hits. Oh, because now we're in the Middle Ages, which means that he's going to use what's known as the ultimate magic attack. And this doesn't do quite as much damage as Grandstone, but it still does quite a bit. So fortunately, that core has not put its defense back up quite yet. Something to keep in mind is that the core has to manually put its defense back on in order for it to deflect your attack. So it's not automatic, which is kind of nice because it gives you a couple of extra turns to just dish some more damage to it. Now Chrono with that Rage Band, once again, killing that one. Alright, so now he's going to be using Evil Star on you, which puts your MP in half, which is kind of a pain, but I think after this I'm going to use a Mega Elixir just to restore both our HP and MP. Why not? Always good. Final battle. That's what I love about final battles in RPGs, is that you can pretty much break all the rules. You're just like, no, you don't have to conserve this anymore. I'm just going to use it. It's fun that way. All right, so let's see, another Mega Elixir. Oh, this is the present, and this is kind of a pain. So you want to try to take out that. All right, the central bit's done. And so now we get to absolutely have a field day with the Lavos core. So actually what the Lavos core has to do, if it hasn't done so already, I might have missed it, is shut off its defense, or put its defense back on, and then what's going to happen is that that's going to shut it right off. And this gives you just plenty of time. See, watch this. It's going to say the Lavos defense power is restored. You just wait a couple minutes. Chrono attacks, of course, because he reacts to everything with that Frenzy Band. And then what's going to happen a couple seconds later is now he's going to shut off his defense, and then you want to counter with 3D attack. So I always surprise myself by how much I know about this final boss. And actually, it does make sense, as you'll see later, because you have to... Well, okay, I won't say anything. But let's just say I've fought this guy many, many times. I won't go further than that, but I have fought this particular battle more times than I can count as far as RPGs go. So now we get the opportunity to just absolutely wail on the Lavos core. Okay, so now he's brought the bits back to life, and as you can see, yeah, the middle one's going to be there. So you want to resume using your Falcon hits. Unless, of course, we luck out and manage to kill the core, but that seems like that might be a little bit unlikely. So anyway, now that everybody's back, you do want to once again use Falcon hit. It's just it's an easy way to deal with it. And of course, at the same time, you want to try to make. Don't give that left bit much of the time of day. Like that's the one that you want to keep kind of just attacking as much as possible. So now we get through another time warp. Thankfully, he didn't use the present day. Okay, so now we have to watch out for Grandstone once again. How this works is just go back to using Falcon hits. I don't think we're going to be able to kill the central core in large enough time where we're going to avoid the attack, but just always know that it's coming. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Thankfully, we got enough HP to deal with it, which is good. And now, of course, we're going to see the same little spiel from the Lavos core. He's going to shut off his defense and then put it back on. But first, we have to endure, of course, Grandstone, which is no fun. But I think that we can have Frog probably use his another Mega Elixir, because yeah, we can just kind of throw them. We can just kind of throw them around. It's really not a big deal. It's something that I have an issue with. All right, so yeah, he hasn't shut off his own defense yet. So I should have known that. I should have just used 3D attack, but this works. Why not? All right, so now his defense is off once again, and we get to just toss up. So I kind of like this battle just because it's a little bit more complicated. Like a lot of the bosses in this game are fairly straightforward, fairly easy, but you have to kind of use your noggin here. And it's also not obvious that the dude on the right is the actual Lavos core, at least at the beginning. Because I was always, when I first fought this battle, I was aiming for the dog in the crab suit because I thought that was the main dude. All right, so now his defense is down. We get to wail once again on the Lavos core, which is exciting. And it keeps saying defense down, but like I said earlier, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Still, he doesn't really have much of a defense in the first place. It doesn't really stand up to 3D attack very well. And we did it! All right, we have defeated Lavos. And so what's going to happen now? Is the world going to end? I do not know. Uh-oh. All right, so here we are, standing in the middle of a vortex. It's always this, it seems to be this rule in JRPGs, at least with Squaresoft, that you can never fight a final boss in open ground. It always has to be in some kind of weird, like, vortex-like thing or whatever. So anyway, we're going through all the times, and what's going to happen? What is going to happen? Oh my gosh! We're going to have a seizure! We're going to end up in the Stone Age again. I hope not. I mean, Ayla wouldn't mind, but me and Frog probably would. Alright, so what is going to happen now? Well, well, well. I wish I could actually hear the sound. You'll hear it when actually, like, you'll hear it during the final product, but right now I just can't hear it, which is frustrating. Oh my god. Please don't tell me that this entire game was a dream. That would be such a crappy angle. So, alright. What's gonna happen? Oh, look, one of the butlers is here? That's crazy. I love the fact that the clone and that one is, and the thing is there. Stay of execution. Wait, what's going on? So after all that, I got sentenced to, I got put on trial again? What's going on? Hey man, I thought we cleared things up with the king and, you know, you're cool with the daughter. Oh, not this again. Yeah, come on, look, we saved the world. This king only thinks of one thing. Talk about deja vu, this is crazy. Yeah, enormous impact on our kingdom. How so? What's going on? I thought this was the good chancellor. What? This is so... Wait a sec. Huh? You knew about this? What the? Is that the old man from the future? You saved the future and gave us hope. How would you know that? The future transformed around you. Haven't you ever seen Back to the Future? Oh, look, there's his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Alright, so we did do that. That makes sense. Oh, look, it's Kino. Somehow he knows how to go through gates as well. Yeah, we sure did. Alright, so it looks like everybody's back, huh? Well, this is a little confusing. Oh! Hey, Luca. You brought them through here, didn't you? Yeah. Marley and I were thinking the exact same thing. Huh, okay, so I guess we're doing all right then. Kinsman. Ah, that's funny. Yeah, exactly. At least somebody can give us gratitude. Everybody else seems so wrapped up in their own daily BS. They were forgetting that we were saving the universe in the space-time continuum. Ah, God. Alright, so does that mean we get, like, a medal or something? I mean, seriously, I gotta get, like... I gotta at least have my own palace for doing that. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna be enjoying the Millennial Fair. So that's kind of cool. And now we're gonna get to see, I guess, what is the last cutscene. Or, wait, not yet. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about it a little bit later. So, alright, we're apparently at the Millennial Fair. Alright, alright, I get hero worship now. This is awesome. Recognition, woohoo! Yay, everything's back. Everything was normal before. You guys didn't even know it. Alright, so this tune is kind of cool. I definitely enjoy it. It's kind of like a spiffied up version of the Millennial Fair theme, except it's got a little bit more pomp in it, which is pretty cool. I definitely dig. I know I can't hear it right now, but I am appreciating it from memory. I can hear it in my brain. Talk about bad timing, because the thing is that my I'm using Dazzle Studio, and sometimes it acts finicky, and this is one of the things that it does, is that it still will actually pick everything up. It won't, like when you have it on your headphones, it's not actually going to record anything, so that's mildly annoying, but I've learned to live with it. Ah, well, it happens. It looks like we have all these preteens that are in love with either me or Chrono, or perhaps the imp. Let's just say it's the imp. Alright, so now we get a chance to walk around. You can't leave, by the way. But yeah, Marley's in front, which is something that I've never done. And so you get to... Oh, look, there's Melchior. What does he have to say? Alright, so now that we've saved the future, we've apparently solved all wars as well. Well, that's a nice, simple resolution. Alright. Lemonade. Yeah, I'm sure you're drinking lemonade, Tabin. Alright, yeah, I probably should. Alright, so yeah, there's Lara with her legs intact, which is pretty impressive. Ah, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure your friends are going to believe you. Oh yeah, that nice young man next door saved the future. Ha! Oh, Chrono's mom. Yeah, that cat is kind of a pain in the butt. It's kind of a good thing we didn't go for multiple cats, which you can get if you get a lot of cat food at the Millennial Fair. So what else is bopping around here? Nothing else really. Unfortunately, it seems like everything else is blocked off, and there's a little bit of slowdown because of all this activity up here. So yeah, unfortunately, there's not much else to do. But let's see what's going to happen with the time machine now. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Oh look. Ah, I see. Everybody's going back to their own time. Well, this had to happen at some point. We gotta say goodbyes. This is gonna be so sad. Well, yeah, Marley, they can't stick around here. They don't have lives in 1000 AD. Alright. Yeah, Ayla had a good time saving the universe, and she was part of our ultimate party, so kudos to you, Ayla. Oh, apparently they're all related. Well, that's interesting. Yep. Alrighty. Awesome. So, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Ayla. What do you mean by that? Alright, yeah, stop talking about sex, Kino. You gotta get back to your own time period. Alright. Guess she's giving us all a farewell kiss. And now Frog's gonna be going home too. There I got the canon, 'tis of consequence. So that's one way of putting it. Alrighty, so yeah, the Great King and the Frog have to go back. Frog, you were amazing too. Part of our amazing squadron. Yep, long farewells never were necessary. Yeah, uh-oh. Sounds like Marley's gonna do something. Oh, gave him a little kiss. That's cute. Yeah, you're right, Luca. These things usually do end that way. Well said. Alright, Mr. Froggy, you're gonna be going. We can't forget Magus, too! So what's Magus gonna do with the rest of his life? Oh, I guess search for his sister. Maybe. Yeah, he's not gonna respond. He's not the one to talk very much. Oh, Robo, what about you? What's the future gonna look like now? You might have you're gonna be surrounded by a lot of other robots. Oh, Luca's gonna miss him. Well, Robo is pretty often, or pretty awesome. Often, awesome. Yeah, I can speak English. But, unfortunately, I didn't use him in my final party. Still, got him all of his techniques, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's going to be different. He will. And even if he doesn't exist, we can always rebuild him. We can make him better. Robo's an optimist. I'm glad that that was part of his programming. Oh, come on, Luca. Don't get too emotional. Aw, he knows how to feel. He's a robot that knows how to feel, just like that movie AI. God, that was a stupid movie. Never see that movie, guys. If you've never seen the movie AI, it's really stupid. Alright, goodbye, Robo. It was nice knowing you. Don't walk into things. Aw, he's crying. It's very expensive tears, though. Oil? I mean, it's not like water, which is cheap. Oil, you know, you have to rebuild that stuff. All right, so there goes our friend. Oh yeah, that talk we had about yeah, the entity thing, that discussion in the woods. I remember that. Perhaps, who knows? Yeah, time travel is pretty exhausting. Okay, so yeah, this is the ending that you get when the epoch is still intact. But don't worry, I'll show you in a bonus video what happens when you don't have it intact. So, uh-oh, what's happening? There's a cat. Yeah, it's Chrono's cat. You don't want to get too close to that time warp. That could be really bad. Yeah, come on, we were busy. Oh no! Oh no, Mom, don't go into the... No, get out of there. Oh, that's not good. Well, yeah, that's kind of a problem. Now, Chrono's just like... Chrono's mom and cat disappeared into a time warp, and he's excited about it. Must be a sociopath. No wonder he doesn't talk. Yep. Alright. We do have a time machine. Alright. Luca, you're an evil genius. Alright, so now we gotta go see the king. Alright, interesting. Apparently, the one last thing we gotta do is save Chrono's mom. Well, well. Alright, well, there's the king right there. Oh, he's happy. Okay. What's he bringing out? A gift, huh? Oh, it's a bell! A new one. Well, that's kind of a nice gift. Aw, Nadia's bell. So that's pretty thoughtful. Your dad's not such a douche after all. Alright, yeah, we're a little busy at the moment. Yeah, there are some things that need to be done. Sorry. We're just gonna be leaving the king hanging. And off goes the epoch. Alright, so... Oh, it looks like he's got some fireworks. Oh, that's funny. Woohoo! Alright. Oh yeah, and once again, I'm playing the music in my brain at the moment, but... Yeah, this is pretty fun ending music. One of my favorites, for sure. So, right, so now we get to see the credits, which is a lot of fun. Oh, man. So, this is absolutely crazy. I did not expect to actually be able to finish. Oh, by the way, we kind of get to see this nice little overlay with the fireworks and the epoch. We get to see Mode 7. So for 1995, these were pretty spiffy graphics. So anyway, I am floored by the fact that I actually got through this LP. This was unexpected. I kind of thought that when I started doing Let's Plays that I would only be doing maybe like 3 videos and then get distracted by something else, because that does tend to be what happens most of the time when I try to save up for some kind of big project and say, oh man, I'm going to see it to the end. But I actually made it through Chrono Trigger, and this says a lot of good things for the remainder of my LP career. And of course, it's just started because this is my first LP. So some people like to do kind of like a numbered review of Chrono Trigger, but I don't like to do that. I just want to give you kind of the general impressions of this game and just talk about it a little bit while the credits are rolling. So, Chrono Trigger, as far as gameplay goes, phenomenal. I mean, especially in 1995. All right. Oh, there's Robo and his girlfriend. That's cute. Especially in 1995, amazing. Especially the fact that you had triple text, double text, and you had all this really good stuff that had never been done in RPGs before. But I especially like the fact that you get to fight battles exactly where they start. There's not a separate battle screen. There is instead, you pretty much fight it right there, and I thought that was really cool. But also the pacing and the story were phenomenal as well. I mean, this is comparatively kind of a simple story, especially compared to the sequel Chrono Cross, which, by the way, I will not be doing an LP of, not over my dead body. It's not that it's a bad game, it's just it's a really densely complicated one, and as you know, there's like 70 characters, and I'm just not going to bother with it. But the pacing was great, story was nicely done, music is phenomenal, by the way. Of course, Mitsuda, the one of the great composers, the game composers of all time. So I was really happy to listen to his music again, even though I can't hear it right now technically. So this has been quite an accomplishment, and some of you all might be wondering why I decided to do this game instead of something that was a little less well-known. Well, I thought it would just be kind of a good start. But actually, the next couple of games that I'm going to be doing are going to be a bit more obscure, a little bit more unknown. And just so you know, the next game that I am going to be doing a LP of is a game called Saga Frontier. You might have heard of it. Less well known. The reviews on it were not spectacular, unlike this game where they were just astounding. But really, it's a game that I think deserves a lot of attention because I think it's pretty good. I think it's underrated, and I'm going to be doing my next Let's Play of that game. So that'll be something that you have to tune in for, that you'll be tuning in for. But yeah, overall, Chrono Trigger, fantastic, spectacular game. One of the best games of my childhood, of the early 90s for sure, in terms of JRPGs. And it's funny because when I got this game, I didn't know what it was. I opened this as a Christmas present, and I'm like, what the hell is Chrono Trigger? Because I thought that Final Fantasy VI was, like, unbeatable. And then this game, I think, is actually a tiny bit better. I say that now, but my mind changes all the time. So Chrono Trigger is not my absolute favorite game, but it's way up there. Definitely my top 10. So, on behalf of the Benjinator, actually, I think that the music has to end. It's a little hard to tell before we get that nice The End screen. But, yep, there we go. So on behalf of the Benjinator and Let's Plays, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun making it. And so I will be catching you on my next project. Hopefully it won't be too long. I try to keep a good pace with this sort of thing. So I will see you guys later. Oh, wait. Never mind. The game is not quite over. We actually have to see the final cutscene. Yeah, so there's... One of the nice things about the PlayStation version is that there are a few other things that are included here. So, oh, it looks like Chrono and Marley got married. Oh my god, this anime quality is so 1980s. This looks like an episode of Ranma 1/2, which I find kind of hilarious. But it's definitely a nice addition to the game, I would say. This little bit right here. And of course now Ayla and Kino, I guess they're married. Pretty much put an onion ring on him. That's funny. That's pretty cool. So we get to kind of see what the deal with these characters are after the whole thing's over. And then of course now Frog's gonna get official recognition from the king. Oh wait, no! Is that Frog? It's, I guess it's Glenn. Huh, so the, I guess the spell wore off and now he's a human again. I hope he still speaks Shakespearean English, though. That'd just be amazing. Well, there he is. Yeah, I forgot exactly when they were going to show this cutscene. I knew it was sometime between, you know, the last boss and the ending. But then, just in the midst of discussing the game in general, I kind of forgot about it. Oh, yay. Chrono looks like he's going to be in for something. Oh, there's Melchior. Him and his alcohol. Hopefully that's a wedding gift. Woohoo! Alright. So good for Chrono, I guess. He got the woman. Wonder where Luca is in all this, though. We haven't seen her yet. We also haven't seen Magus. So, yeah, I feel like, you know, the ending should have, like... I feel like, you know, if they play the music that they played at the end of Star Wars A New Hope, this would be really... this would be really, I guess, proper as well. Especially because that's a scene in the end where just every character is doing a bunch of smiling. Oh, and look, there's a mini version of Robo, as invented by Luca. So it looks like, I kind of like the placement of this cutscene, because it kind of seems like, oh, yeah, alright. There's a baby with a strange amulet around her neck. Well, well. So that's interesting. I like the placement of this cutscene, because this is actually a little bit foreshadowing into what happens in Chrono Cross. Finn! Alright, so I guess that's the actual ending. Once again, we are faced with a bunch of credits. Hooray. Thankfully, it gets through these pretty quickly. So yeah, once again, I guess I should talk a little bit about my impressions of the PlayStation version. Aside from the fact that there's a little bit of slowdown, I really do appreciate the extra cutscenes. I mean, I wouldn't exactly say that they add a ton to the game, but they do add a little bit, which I think is pretty cool. You know, it gives you a little bit more things to look forward to. As far as whether or not the SNES version or the PlayStation version are better, I think the PlayStation version's a little bit better just because it has a little bit of those extras. I like the presentation. It's overall... Excuse me. Well, I've been talking for almost 40 minutes here. It's just a little bit more fun. So, I definitely appreciate that. And there's all these names, of course, of various types of people who have worked on the game. And some of them are actually familiar. Masato Kato was one of the lead game designers, and he actually was the one that had his complete concentration on Chrono Cross. By the way, if you want to play Chrono Cross, I do recommend you play it. It's not one of my top 10, the sequel to this game, but it's probably at least like top 20, top 25. It's a very different game. It's much more complex. It was made in 2000, and I think that it loses some of the magic of this particular game. Because Chrono Trigger was, in some ways, it was great because of its relative simplicity. Whereas Chrono Cross tries to make things a little bit more complicated, a little bit more cerebral. But what happens is that they kind of went overboard. And sometimes what happens in a lot of RPGs, especially JRPGs, is that the story will get so incredibly just out there and complicated and crazy that you won't really be able to appreciate it. And then it stops making sense, and then the flow is just really disrupted. And there are actually points in Chrono Cross where you have these characters, literally you talk to them, and they fill in plot holes for you. That's how convoluted it gets. So, anyway, just, but again, I still recommend that you play it at some point. It's worth checking out. You don't even have to really necessarily finish it, because as far as sequels are concerned, the connection is a little bit tenuous. So, alright, and so that is Chrono Trigger. Fantastic game. Will hopefully live down in the ages. Oh, but what is this? Well, well, well. So apparently, this game has multiple endings. Yeah, if you couldn't figure it out, one of Chrono Cross's other claims to fame is that it has multiple endings. And so we've beaten the official one, the one that you're kind of expected to get. But there are ways to get other endings, and so what's going to happen is I'm going to be showing you a series of bonus videos in which you'll be able to see multiple endings. But before you do that, one thing that you absolutely want to do is save your system data, because this will allow you to essentially load up the game, and it kind of keeps track of which endings you've got, and that is really important. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Let's Play Chrono Trigger. We have completed most of the main game, but now we're going to be seeing a couple of bonus videos. So tune in next time. This is the Benjinator, and I'll catch you all later.